Hello and welcome back to Daily 717, where we're just hanging out, having a ball in my brand new apartment. Same desk, same webcam, same microphones, same man, different venue. I really think that I'm probably going to have to go green screen crazy in here, or maybe move the desk. I can't actually figure out where I want to be. Maybe I should rotate it. Who knows? Who knows? Alright, from Biedrek, who says, Dana, a lot of people have been talking about making StarCraft 2 free to play, so as to attract new players. Do you think this is feasible? If it isn't, or I think there's changes that could make it so. Excuse me. My body decided to inhale my own spit, and my lungs don't process that very well. I actually don't see a reasonable way for SC2 to go free to play, because I'd want to say, like, what would you buy? What would be that thing that you buy? And I don't really see it. I mean, other than customization. Other than that. I think Dota 2 is one of the only games that has successfully been almost exclusively customization, and even then they're not exclusively customization. It's also particularly hard to do skins and customization and things like that for 1v1 heavy games, because you can't really show it off to anyone. In a team game like a Dota, you can actually be like, hey, here's my skin, teammate, check out my badass thing. Yeah, I mean, buying the campaign. Okay, so here's the reason why I think buying of campaigns isn't a feasible business model. Because it is an absolutely immense amount of effort to create something that has an end. And I think that that's a very important thing to note. If I buy a hero in League of Legends, I have that hero forever. I have bought something like, I was about to put this contact solution. No, that's a bad example because that'll go away. I don't know, this shirt. It's a really cool Minecraft thing that I have. Yeah, I bought it, now I own it, and it's mine forever and for all time. But with a campaign, I am buying something that I'm going to play for like 3 or 4 hours, and then maybe be done with it if it's a short one. If it's a longer campaign, maybe 15, 20 hours and be done with it. And I think that it's also a non-interactive form of buying. I think that in a correct, like a well-done free-to-play game, that's multiplayer, of course, me buying something provides some benefit for me and benefit for other people. If I buy the hero in League of Legends, that's helping my team because I now have this hero. My enemies, who may have never seen the hero I bought, are gonna get to see it. It's an interesting sort of building experience. And plus, I don't really know. I don't think anyone's ever really done that sort of campaign thing. So, I mean, I think that it could make money. Don't get me wrong. I think it could make money, but I think that it is risky, for instance, to say, we are going to now make StarCraft free to play and rely only on campaigns as our primary source of revenue. That seems hard. I think Hearthstone is an example of a very well done free to play experience. You pay for cards. You pay for cards. And it is not a restriction in Hearthstone. I don't need to buy the cards before I can begin playing. I'm already playing. I'm playing the game. I'm having fun. And when I open a new pack, these are new experiences for me. Parceled out. So then I play with these new cards and I have fun with them. And then I open another pack. Oh! And I have that experience and sort through them and all that stuff. This is... So yeah, I struggle to see how existing StarCraft 2 could be done free to play. I think there would need to be some massive change. And I have put very little thought into the massive change that would be. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit more. Voice of All says, Dana, what makes you angry and what are some of your casual pet peeves of yours? Oh, interesting question. My experience with getting really angry and mad always comes back to the same two things, always. One of them is when I'm just tired and overworked. I just get very mad. Not over long periods of time, but stuff just like, God! So I've been very responsible about making sure that I actually get my rest and get my sleep, and that I don't hit this point where I'm out of energy but still trying to force it because I believe in the principle of hard work. So that's the first one. And the second one that I find that makes me really angry consistently, that seems to be the source of 90% of the anger that I feel, is just lack of communication. So I'm going to make up an example, because I just ended 5 years with the most wonderful people as roommates, just wonderful. So I'm going to take Kyla, who's wonderful, whom I love dearly. She's great. I'm going to be at her wedding this August. She's awesome. Let's pretend for a moment that Kyla was leaving dishes around and kind of making a mess. If I communicate to her and I say something like, hey Kyla, you know, I'd like if you did your dishes. And she goes, oh, sorry. And let's say she keeps doing it. Again, communication again. I sit her down and be like, Kyla, I really want you to know, it's really bothering me that you do this, and just talk. And like, what can we do to make sure you remember it? Can I help you? Can we set a time for it? And the more you communicate, the less you just feel tension. And then the next day, imagine the dishes being done. The result of this communication, in my mind, is the great thing happened. I communicated with Kyle and really good stuff happened. I'm going to like Kyle more. It's going to be great. But let's imagine for a moment that I didn't communicate on it. This is where I started getting mad. I just see the dishes and I'm like, this is public space? What's she doing? What is she doing? And then a lot of people I know do this thing where they don't say, Kyla, is there any chance you could do your dishes because this is a public space and it feels gross? A lot of people I know would be like, hey Kyla, what are you up to? What's up? And Kyla's like, oh, just watching TV? Oh, you're watching TV, Kyla. Are you? You know, is there any... You don't need to do it now, but are you going to clean this? They like dance around the issue or don't talk about it. And what, in my experience, I find that happens is people who don't talk about it, or when I haven't talked about it, we just start getting fucking mad. Quietly, like broodingly angry. Like, if I'm not going to talk to her about it, if I'm not going to communicate, I come home and see the dishes there, and I'm like, go home. Come back the next day, dishes, gross. Go in my room. Next day, come back, dishes are gross. And Kyla comes out, and she's like, hey, Sean, how's your day? And I'll be like, it was a productive day, Kyla, because you know what? I like to get shit done. I'm not lazy. You know, that's when you just get these weird, mismatched emotions that have built up. That in my experience, those are the two things where I wind up mad. I kind of believe that there shouldn't be things that just always make you mad. Always. If that's ever happened, it means you either aren't communicating about it enough or there's something else just getting in your way. I do have pet peeves, though. For instance, if I'm in my chair and you touch the back of my chair, I need you to let go. I need you to let go right fucking now. Before I break your little fingers, huh? But I don't get mad. But just don't touch my chair. I just don't like this. I don't like this when you're just moving. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. I dislike when people correct grammar in real life. Like, you know, hey, where's the subway at? Great, perfectly fine thing to say in English. I'm not going to say, at where is the subway? Because that's unnatural for speech. Grammar is a rule set to help people communicate, and certain things like intonation, flow of words are really important as another way to communicate. In the same way that I can be like, and you know I'm kind of annoyed at you and I want you to do something because of the pace of my noise, right? Like, that's an important thing to do. An important part of that. When someone's like, you're not doing good, you're doing well. And I'm like, no, I'm doing good. You know what I mean. And that sounds pompous And that sounds off for me to go, oh, I'm doing well. Doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. There's people I know whose voices and whose tone, when they say, I'm doing well, it sounds correct. It sounds right. And I don't mean grammar-wise right. I mean it just has the right flow to the words. So that does get my heebie-jeebies all twisted up in a tizzy. Whenever someone's like, no, you must work upon your grammar. Your grammar is wrong. Actually, that's the third thing that's a big... This is probably... Actually, no, this is definitely my biggest pet peeve of all. Far and away my biggest pet peeve of all. Is when someone feels that it is important to be right. I hate that. Oh my God. I mean, I'm exaggerating. In real life, I'm like, man, ugh, that's annoying. But I'm going to exaggerate it for the purpose of the speech. I cannot stand. I want to literally die. And as I'm dying, shoot myself in my just barely able to have feelings for a little bit longer knees. Because I just hate it. So here's an example. Let's say I'm at a thermostat. And I'm hitting it and I can't seem to reduce the temperature. And I say, what the hell, the thermostat's not working. A wonderful person says, wait, really? Here, you know, it's kind of a weird, it's kind of a weird interface. Let me take a look. What is this person doing? The goal of this person is to help you out. The goal of this person is to get it colder in the room, so they'll come over and go, oh, see, if you press like this and this and this, that's what'll make the temperature go down. That's what'll make the temperature go down. The goal's been accomplished, make the temperature go down. And then that person might say something like, oh yeah, sorry, it's kind of a weird thermostat. And the other person will go, oh, okay, so great. This arbitrary imaginary person has both achieved the goal that the confused person was setting out upon and has reassured the confused person that, hey, that's okay, this is a weird thermostat, it's not just a thermostat. Here's what I fucking hate, when someone needs to be right. Hey, this thermostat isn't working. Yes, it is. Why would you say yes it is? Why would you say that? That's not going to help the guy figure out the thermostat. You're trying to be like, I'm going to lord the fact of the thermostat over you. And it's like, okay, and then the person will naturally say something in response like, well, I mean, I'm trying, I'm hitting the down button and it doesn't seem to be getting colder. And you'll hear the other person say, well, you're doing it wrong. What the fuck? Like, oh my God, die today. Like, I don't understand, because these will crop up so much, especially on the internet, where people will just, they'll want to say, no, you're wrong. They want you to be wrong so they feel right. They want that, instead of ever acknowledging what the actual goal of conversation is, which is most often understanding and most often trying to figure stuff out. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Hearthstone. You play that card? That card's terrible. Like, I can understand someone saying that in a sort of recreational way. Like in that genuine, in that genuine fun sort of, I just lost to this guy playing Ancient Mage. Who plays Ancient Mage? Ugh. I understand that. That's venting. That's venting to a buddy. That's okay. I get that. That's fine. You want to make yourself, in your venting, feel powerful over the other person. I get that, because you're angry that you lost. That's great. But if you're looking at someone in the face going, you play Ancient Mage? That's so stupid. Who are you talking to? Who the fuck are you talking to? If you want to give someone advice, be like, hey, well, I'm curious about the Ancient Mage. Why are you running the Ancient Mage? And then they might tell you, and you might learn what their understanding is, and then you can begin to have a conversation if you actually want to help. But in my experience, a lot of people who are trying to help you actually are only trying to make themselves feel good and trying to make themselves feel powerful and trying to make themselves feel right. So ignore always that need to feel right. That is an unimportant thing that should not be used. That should not be used to try to lord over other people. Occasionally, I think it's great to use that because it's an extremely easy way during venting to make yourself feel better. I get that. That's great when you're talking to your buddy. I do this. You'll see me do this when I'm annoyed in my little single-player game. I'm not even playing as another person. I'm just like, ugh, this boss is so stupid. What a stupid boss. Of course I'm going to say the boss is stupid. Of course I'm going to act like I'm so sophisticated and understand that it wasn't me that couldn't kill the boss in fucking Dark Souls. Of course that makes sense. Of course. But don't you dare do it to another human being, you fucking monster. Let's take another question. I believe in this really, really firmly. Don't try to be right. Don't ever try to be right. Being right is the most useless thing. That was a rant. That was really a rant. Ugh. Oh crap. There's a lot of questions that came up at the same time. Here, I'm gonna Control C. I'm gonna go to Notepad. I'm gonna paste it. Ooh, Lefowens. Dana, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to start a business? Looking to start a business. Okay. Ooh, what advice would I give someone who's looking to start a business? I think I have 4 things in my head, roughly. So let's try to do them. The first thing that I would really encourage you to do is to stop asking for permission. Just cut that shit out. I know so many people who will come up and say, hey, I'm thinking of starting a business where it's a coaching business where people are experts in games and then other people can get coached from them and I'm going to make the service that connects them. What do you think? And I'm like, what do you mean what do I think? It sounds fine. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, do you think that's a good idea? And I'm like, I mean, do you think it's a good idea? And the person's like, yeah. And I'm like, you should do it. Don't ask people for permission. Don't look for approval. You really gotta know that in business you can just do it. You can do anything you want. If I wanted to, I could begin selling a pencil GPS tracking device, special GPS sensitive lead and pencils, so you can find the exact location in the world where you lost your pencil. I can do this. It might not make money, but I can do whatever I want. I can do anything I want. So that's the first thing I would say is not to ask for permission, but really to just look. The second thing is to actually have a clear and implementable plan with numbers. I'm not going to talk about how to make those numbers. I'm going to talk about the fact that you actually need to do that. I know, for instance, someone would say, I want to make a website where the coaching website where pro gamers can offer their services, people can pay through the website, and then I can take a cut of money. You do need to think hard about exactly how that will actually generate revenue and how much revenue it will generate. And don't be aspirational. Don't be realistic. I think that that's a big thing that I see people do where they'll be like, well, I mean, if you imagine all these other games getting into it, there could be millions of coaches, and that's millions of students, which is tens of millions of dollars. Weak business plans are 2 numbers multiplied together to a big number. Don't do that. Get a really clear, clean description set out really clearly. That's really realistic. That's where you do a lot of research. That's where you do a lot of planning. That's where it would be great to come to someone. Like if you came up to me and you said, hey, here is my business plan on coaching. And I was wondering, I've assumed that this many people play StarCraft and I've assumed that this many people actually want coaching. What would you give me a sanity check on those numbers? That's great. That's great. That's a fantastic thing. So yeah, I mean, the clear plan is really, 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 really important with freaking numbers in there. With numbers, 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 numbers. The third thing is that your idea is useless. I don't give a shit what idea it is. Having an idea creates negative value. Ideas are negatively valued. It is execution. Execution is what you should be thinking about. So if you're ever thinking of a business, don't try to impress anyone. Don't try to impress me with your idea. Oh, I'm going to make a coaching website. Right? No, it's about execution. It's about really, really sharp and good execution. This is, I mean, it's a great example of this. Tesla just released all of their patents. All of the patents. That's like one of the most important things ever for, especially in the type of industry there. And they released it, and they said, we're looking to attract the best talent in the world. And we're big believers in the open source movement. Execution. We don't give a shit if you have all of our ideas. We have smarter people, and we will attract smarter people who will do it better. That's an example of execution. So if you asked me, you know, hey Sean, how did you manage to get your business to be something that could sustain you for so long? Well, I worked 100 hours a week every week. Ta-da! Like that's one part of it. And the last thing I would say is to really know what you want out of it. Because, for instance, like video casting like this, doing video casting on StarCraft strategy has a cap. There's only so many people who really want to look for StarCraft strategy at a high level for one game. Like, I mean, there's only so many people who are going to want to do that. And I knew that going into this, my goal was to be able to support myself doing that. That's what was really important to me. And I did some other things along the way, but there's obviously that cap, and a lot of it was just to support the fact that I really love esports and believed in esports and wanted to do it. And it is okay to know, like, oh, I'm only going into this, like, I'm going to start a restaurant. I have no ambition to become a chain. I just want a nice restaurant. That would make me happy. You might say, well, I'm looking to be the best at X. Or I'm looking to invent, or I want to have the freedom to invent and do things. I want to have the freedom to move around in my life. Like, really, no. Or maybe it's just money. Maybe you just want money. So, first thing, stop asking for permission. Just go do it. Second thing is to have a really clear plan with lots of numbers, and don't be aspirational, be real. And don't be conservative, be real, get your damn numbers. The third thing is your ideas are useless. Please focus only on execution. Wow me with how good you are at execution. And the fourth thing is to know what you want. Really know what you want. Damn, I answered the shit out of that one. Woo! Oh, yeah. Damn. I think. I don't know. I might go back and change those answers at some point. Those are 4 things, though, if you want to start your own business. In my eyes, it's always like, oh, here is, wow. Oh. Let's take, let's see here. Bob 1T, I'm going to take this question because I think it is very important. How are you so fantastically positive about everything? The answer is that it takes a lot of effort. And I think one of the great miracles of being a human is that you can think all sorts of stuff in your head, but you get to choose what comes out of your mouth. For instance, I want all of you to just say lemons. Even if you're in a library, lemons. This is not a culinary show. I didn't ask you a question to do that. There was no thought that occurred, but you chose to say that because you're watching along and you're participating. And I am extremely good at having an emotion here that causes a thought here, and then I stop. And I actually think about what I want to say. And you'll see me do this stop and think a lot, like in interviews. Actually, go watch any interview. Hotbit did an interview with me at the Red Bull thing, the Red Bull Battlegrounds. You'll see in there, he'll ask questions, and I'll go, And I'll actually stop and think and come back. And I think real fucking fast. I do a show where all I'm doing is churning out speech from the thoughts that are quickly bubbling up in my head without a script. And I will still take the time to go, Actually, I've even done that in this show. Stopped and thinked. Stopped and thought. Damn, I should have thunked about that one. So, to a certain extent, a lot of times I am positive because something bad happens that will cause me to literally think, that's so stupid. God, what an idiot. I can't believe that idiot did that thing. And then what I say out of my mouth is you hear me go, uh-oh, whoops. Because in my head I think, yeah, I don't actually want to yell at that person. Those feelings will probably go away in a little bit. And this person's probably embarrassed that they did the dumb thing too. So what would be something that would make that person feel nice? Probably it would be nice if they felt like I didn't find it to be a big deal. So then I go, uh-oh, that's bad. And the other person's like, yeah, oh God, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. It's great. And I did that for a while. And now those are the thoughts that crop up into my head. By choosing to say this stuff, by stopping, now all of a sudden I actually do that. Whenever someone makes a huge error in a way that would really normally annoy me, I get this sort of eager excitement because I'm like, oh, I'm going to make them feel better. They're going to be so happy at how little I care and how fine I am with this. Yeah. So that's definitely the first piece of advice. Put yourself in high-intensity situations and then just go, and stop and think of 4 to 5 different things you could say and the tone of how you'd say them. Wait and then select one. Select one is the first one. And the second piece of advice is that I have a lot of conversations with myself. I say things out loud to myself a lot and practice answers and practice conversations and practice how I want to deliver things so that it's just right. So again, let's say person has just made a big mistake, like friend came over and knocked over a bunch of glasses onto the floor. They were being clumsy beforehand and then they knocked it over. Well, okay, so I think through that scenario in my head. Do I go, oh, crap. No, that sounds like I'm really disappointed. And I like my friend more than I like any glasses, so that's not right. If I went, yay, you destroyed my glasses! That's kind of funny, but that might be a little too unnatural. So I might be like, whoopsie daisies, here, I'll get something to clean it up. Maybe something along those lines, and then I start to actually think through. So in fact, like, a lot of my cheeriness is deliberate, practice cheeriness, and in varying contexts, just to try to get it to sound right. And at the end of each day, a lot of times I'll like review things that just felt wrong. Like, what's one? I was on the phone with someone and I was stuck in traffic. Like, as you know, like if you saw my tweets before the show, I was on the phone and I was stuck in traffic and I was really annoyed. I was like, this is so stupid. I hate being late for my show. Ugh. And probably what I'll do later tonight is be like, how could I have said that in a way that would not have possibly bothered the person I was on the phone with? How could I have made that a nicer experience while still gotten the chance to be able to vent that I was in traffic? So, practice and patience. That's it. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I am going to go to Tristan's and pick up the remainder of my crud. And I am now going to go. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to play Shovel Knight. Woo! Take care, guys.